Zoom record. We are recording, so only tell your filthiest jokes. We'll start with Matt. No, Matt, I'm going to give you three things you got to make a joke out of it: a midget, gag ball, and a twister board. Make a joke out of that.
Oh wow, no pressure.
I tell you what, you can kind of marinate on that. Okay, we'll hit you
Yeah.
up later after we stop recording. Um, anyway, what's your primary focus down here in San Antonio as far as real estate?
So John, I'm both an investor and an agent here in the
Okay.
San Antonio market. Got a fair amount of fix and flips under my belt, some buy and holds. Been a wonky market. Been putting my license to use and helping retail agents as well. So kind of anything and everything. Um,
Well, awesome. Oh, it cut out for just a second, Matt. I don't know why. I'm gonna get rid of
Sorry,
this.
following you for a little while. Understand you're the go-to on the lease option,
Mhm.
and dabbled a little bit with some owner finance and helped some investors on owner finance side. And so I've dealt with a lot of people that have lower amount of entry fee,
Mhm.
but still are looking to buy. And so I'm really open to learn what I can about lease options. I think that honestly can be a very uh, great fit for a lot of people, both people looking to get into a home, and then of course for people that are stuck in this market trying to set up,
Yeah.
having to transition into lease, which is what I'm seeing a lot of too.
Yeah, and so as an agent, people say, "Well, John? I'm an agent. How can I do lease options as an agent?" Well, yeah, you can do lease options as an agent. The only thing that an agent can't do that I do, uh, the only for in the state that they're licensed in, is send direct mail to listed houses. So one of my marketing methods is sending direct mail to over 30 DOM, over 30 days on market. Um, it's a very very laser focused list. So when I do a mailing, it's normally 800 pieces or less. So it's very very laser focused, but certainly methodology about that. But that's the only thing that someone can't do as an agent. Now Texas doesn't have promulgated contracts for lease option. Obviously we've got the contracts, but there's no promulgated contracts. But per per the code, the contracts must be promulgated or drafted by an attorney. Well, these were drafted by multiple attorneys. One of them actually helped write a lot of the property code of Title II, Chapter 5. Um, but nevertheless, as an agent, as you're talking with either sellers or buyers, whether the sellers are investors, individual investors, agents, whatever the case may be, what you're able to present to say a seller that maybe the house isn't, it's been on the market, you're not getting the traction you want, whatever the case may be, or even out of the gate when you're first having that initial kind of consultation with that seller or investor, is presenting a few different options. Hey, we can do MLS based on comps, price per square foot, blah 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 blah. This is kind of the price point that we're looking at. Here's what we're looking at here. Um, um, but we're seeing days on market in this price range at whatever that kind of average is, 45 days, 6 days, whatever that is. Another option is the lease option, where you're going to get full price, you get cash flow each month, and the buyer's going to cash you out within 12 months. Um, um, and then, of course, you get your fee, out of that, out of the option consideration that they pay. Um, a third option would be seller finance. You'd make more money, get more money down, typically more money per month. You don't pay taxes and insurance as the seller because the buyer takes over that. And you can play with those numbers there. Uh, on this call, so I did some live calls yesterday for an hour and a half. Um, um, Today I'm going to finish. I'm not going to finish. I've got more calls to make to these leads, and I'll get into that here in just a moment. The first call I'm going to make is to an investor with a rehab he did in Clear Lake Shores, outside of Houston somewhere, and he'd brought me about 4 or 5 properties, and I think he sold a couple of them because he's had these for a while. part of the challenge he was having. We got some traction on one of them, and had a couple of serious buyers that were right on the just almost there, and then they bowed out for one reason or another. But he's got a property here on Narcissus Road. I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to do a screen share and pull it up. You get rid of this. Okay, so I'm going to pull this up, and then hopefully I can get a hold of Eduardo, the owner. Let me screen share this just so y'all can see. Screen share. So this, what we're looking to probably structure is, and because we can market a property as lease option and seller finance, we have those terms in place, so we can actually do both. You as an agent could market the property, one property, three different ways. They don't have to go with one or the other. They can say, hey, we can throw it out, we can market this with all three strategies: MLS at this price point, lease option at with these terms, seller finance with these terms, and you can market it all three ways. So again, helps you a lot as the agent to have those multiple exit marketing strategies, I should say. There we go. So yeah, this one's obviously, yeah, I was going to say right by the water, or very close to the water. So so I'm going to call this seller right now, put him on speakerphone, see if I can get a hold of him. Well,
hey John, sir.
What's going on, Eduardo?
All good. How is San Antonio?
Man, I'm really enjoying it, getting settled in here. I'm really enjoying it. I live in Live Oak, which is just north of San Antonio, around the very northern edge. So I kind of stay in my bubble up in this area. Haven't really explored San Antonio, which I've been here 1,000 times, obviously. But no, I'm enjoying it. I really am enjoying it. Turns out there's a lot more people in the real estate world here that I know than I realized. So, but no, it's going great. So yeah, let's get caught up on your properties. First of all, is Narcissus the only one left, or do you have any of these others that are left?
Narcissus is the only one that I'm
Okay.
looking at scale at the moment.
Okay, great. Did you refi it already?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and I can send you an email with these numbers here. So you're marketing for 549, I believe. Yeah. So we'll drop that price. So you're down to 549. So we'd have to adjust our numbers from where we originally spoke, which is no big deal. On this one, and you may not have this data, readily available. I'm going to put together some, and I'll send this to you via email here in just a moment. I'll revise the lease option numbers and let you look at, take a look at those. But I also want to look at seller finance. What are the numbers on the underlying DSCR loan right now, as far as your interest and your P&I?
I'd have to look at that, but I know that my payment, my PITI, because the thing is, the insurance is pretty high now.
Yeah.
It's by the water.
Right.
So my PITI is like 4,500%. I believe about half of that is PI.
Okay.
Roughly.
Okay.
Check.
Yeah.
And in regards to the interest rate, it's 7 point something. I think it's 7.5, somewhere around there. So the interest rate is going to have to be, somewhere around the 8 some change to 9 or something.
Yeah, and we can play with those numbers. It depends on what's. And again, you may not have this data readily available. Do you know what your what the loan was for, what you refied it for, the amount as far as what's owed?
It's high 400s. So
Okay.
I have the exact.
Okay, I'm just gonna put 500 just for so we can play with. Okay, all right. And you're about 7.5 or so on the DSCR. You owe, well, I'm rounding up here, 500K. Okay, let me work on some numbers here, Eduardo, and I'll get these out to you probably in the next 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay. And then the other thing I want to mention is I'm leaning a lot more so towards seller finance than lease option.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. And on this price range of house and location, this and that, the seller finance, we'd get a lot more, we get more bites on it, at that. So, okay, I'll work on these. I'll probably have these out to you in about 15 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay. So this guy got into, he got in, unfortunately over his head, a super nice guy, but he had, 4, 5, 6. I don't know how much that one was. He had about 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pretty high end rehabs like this one, right? And so he got him. Had the crew. Had totally redid them. Great looking houses. But these houses, when he first contacted me last year on these, I mean, we were talking like 600, 650. $790,000 houses, and in the world of lease options, what I have found is that when you get above a certain kind of a price bracket, that normally you're going to get a bigger buyer pool of seller finance, because there's 4 different buyer pools. There's the like Matt, what you work with the retail buyers, right? MLS, hope for the best. So you have your retail buyers, you have your lease option owner occupied buyer, your lease option buyers. You have your seller finance owner occupied buyers. Yeah. The biggest pool is your seller finance investor pool. Now, that's the biggest pool, but in order to really fish in that pond, the terms have to be pretty sexy, right? And because of the avatar of seller/investor that we're working with, it's not, we've done it before, but it's not super common for us to be able to make those numbers sexy enough for an investor to come in, do what they need to do, and be able to profit from it. But one of the more common way that we can tap into that investor pool for seller finance is if the house really checks off all the boxes for, say, pad split. And, if we can get that interest rate, again, every case, it's case by case basis, but like I've got one I'm working on, right? Maybe 2 that I'm working on, the investors, the owners, to try to really tweak those numbers so we can tap into that buyer pool. I've got one, that is circling the bait on one, but we've got to firm up the terms with the owner. They've got to go see the property. We've got to firm up those terms. But that investor would buy it and use it as for pad split. But anyway, so let's look at this house. So, oh, hey, Stephen. I just looked over there. So I'm going to go into a little more details. I kind of walk through this just because this is your first call to be on with me, Matt. Stephen's, Kenway both work with me. So that, what I'm going to show them is, nothing new to them. But when we do a lease option, we've got this down to a copy paste system where a seller contacts me about their house. I get their information, blah, blah, blah. I fill out a little information sheet here. It's super simple. This is not rocket science. And then I get their email address. I copy paste them 2 emails. The first email is, who are we? What do we do? How does it work? Boom, there you go with an attachment. Second email, boom, copy paste, put the price sheet together. Seller price sheet looks like this. Copy paste, boom, send the email. So they've got 2 emails from me that I follow up them, either later that day or the next day to see if they have any questions about the numbers. So in this case, what you're going to see me do, is I'm going to put a revised price sheet together for this house, for the seller, I'm sorry, for lease option, then you're gonna see me go to my amortization table to play with the numbers on seller finance. Now, normally, the lease option, we get paid the buyer pays us the option fee and we give part of that to the seller. Normally, depending on the price of the house, $2,000-$3,000, it depends on the price of the house. More expensive, you're gonna get maybe a little bit more. On seller finance, we get paid, same thing. It's just that it comes off the HUD. We send an invoice to the title company, and we get paid. It shows up on the HUD, and they wire the money. Super simple. When I work with some investors, like Eduardo, we structure a little bit differently. Where we're like in this case, where we agreed to give them half the option fee. So, for example, if the option fee was $30,000, then it'd be $15,000, $15,000. Seller finance. If we market seller finance, we get a seller finance buyer. We'd still make that $15,000. It just comes off the HUD at the time of close. So I'm gonna stop sharing this for just a moment here. Let me get rid of a few screens here, and go here. Okay. So because I'm let me stop sharing. Because I'm already I've worked with Eduardo before, you're not going to see the copy paste email. I'm just going to put the price sheet together because there's no sense in me starting from square one. I mean, he knows what we do and all this and that. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to share my screen, my entire screen, and I'm going to go to the price sheet. Boom, boom, update seller price sheet. And he's got it. Okay, so here's the price sheet here. And again, I'm not going to send him the full email because he worked with this. I just want to give him these numbers. And I could, because he knows how we work, I could literally just send him an email. Hey, here's the numbers here. Here's the numbers here. But I'm going a little bit deeper so I can show you all. Plus, if someone watches this replay, it'll make sense. Road, Lake Shores, Texas, 77565. Okay, so he's at 549. So we'll call it 550. We're normally, depending on the price, 8, 10, higher price houses, $15,000 higher than the list price. Kenway, who's on the line here, he and I were just talking this morning about a $7.5 million home that he's got a lead on. He's working with the agent on a house in Illinois, $7.5 million. So again, you get to that price point, right? We're structuring the numbers a little bit differently as far as how much down, how much is going to the seller and all that. So, oh, there's Rick. We'll let Rick in here. But anyway, so he's got it at 550, 549 actually. I'm going to put it 560. I want to make sure he's got that. It was let me double check here. Go back to, I believe it's at 549.9. Oh, 540. Okay, so 550. Okay, so I'm going to put this at 560. I'm going to put this at and again, because Eduardo worked with him before, he's got, he's going to continue sending us inventory. I'm going to split the option fee with him. And he's probably going to want this a little bit higher, probably closer to 30,000, but let's go with this. So our concession, I'm going to put 4,800. And I'll go through the concession a little bit here, just again, for people that watch the replay, for Matt's information. So with a lease option, there's typically what's called a rent credit. A rent credit is where a portion of what they're paying is going to pay some of their closing costs when they go to buy. When a buyer calls about a house we have on a lease option, we explain everything, tell them the numbers. They'll say, well, how much of what I'm paying is going towards the purchase or they may say towards the purchase or towards the down, right? They think, sometimes they think all they're paying is what they're paying every month is going towards the down payment. No, that's not how it works in the world of lending. The buyer's going to, we would market it, say $560, $25,000 option fee that will go towards or down at the time of finance. And then the concession. So again, normally a lot of times with a lease option, you'll see a rent credit of whatever, $300 a month, $400 a month, rent credit, whatever, that you pay every month is going towards the purchase. Well, the truth is that that rent credit doesn't go towards the down payment or principal reduction, unless they revise the figures at the time of finance. It's going towards closing costs. It's a seller concession. So we don't really use the term rent credit. We just call it what it is. It's seller concession, which has to do with lending guidelines. It just makes life easy. On lower price houses, below say 450, 475, we offer $3,600 seller concession. If you move up 4,800, 5,400, higher price houses, $10,000, $15,000 seller concession. If it's a more expensive house. But again, this is just going to be a seller concession at the time of close to help cover really the buyer's origination fee essentially. Okay, so there's the seller concession, and on this, what I'm going to do. So he said his PITI is 4,500. I'm going to go over here and play with this a little bit. 500, 1, 2, 3. I'm just trying to get a ballpark for what his P&I is here. And this is not going to be super accurate because he may owe 480. I don't know. But okay, so about 30. Okay, so his PI is probably lower than that. So because he thinks about half is going to P&I, which as I work with these numbers particularly in this case with Eduardo, an investor I've worked with before, it's I don't need to get these numbers dialed in exactly just yet. I'm going to send these numbers to him, and then he'll follow up today, I'm sure, and kind of see, okay, we're going to tweak this and this and that. So so I'm going to play with this a little bit. Is at 35, 33. Okay. So I'm going to come back to this. I just wanted to play these numbers. So, okay. So we're going to go over back to the price sheet here. Anyway, so this monthly payment, I would set this at, what was it? 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I would set this at about 40. Yeah, 47.95. That's a little higher than I'd like for that house from a marketing perspective. But for the lease option, on that monthly payment on the lease option, we really want to cover the PITI and hopefully get some cash flow. Now, if his PITI is about 4,500, this isn't $300 a month cash flow. But again, he's probably going to go seller finance. But I'm going to save this and put it here. I'm going to put updated figures 300 narcissist. I'm going to look up the word narcissist. It sounds so much like narcissist. I'm like, ugh, who wants to live on Narcissist Lane?
It's a flower.
I did not know that. Apparently, it's a flower. I know you must have ChatGPT'd that shit. You didn't know that. All right.
I know things.
Okay. When do they bloom?
Spring.
Okay. So
depends on where they are and when they were planted, how you take care of them.
I'm going to turn this ringer off. It's for this call. All right. VIS. Why is it not? Oh, there we go. There you go. I'm telling the seller, I just found our scissors and flour. Didn't know that. Okay, again, guys, because I've worked with Eduardo and this and that, I'm not doing the typical copy paste. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this just so I've got it when we talk later today. Dun, 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 dun. And I'm going to attach this. Dun, 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 dun. There you go. So there's the figures on the lease option. Again, most likely you're going to go to seller finance, but I still want to have these numbers available. Now I'm going to go back over here, and again, I was just kind of playing with where his payment may be. So we're going to put this at 560, 1, 2, 3, at 7% interest. Make sure I calculate. Okay, 37.25. So see, he said he owed in the high fours, 400s. I don't know if it's 480, 85, up 90. I don't know. You have to get look that up to see exactly. But and he was at, say, he thought 7.5. So he thought we needed to be at 7.5 for the buyer. Well, not necessarily. If we're charging interest on a higher loan amount, right, he can still cash flow. Even if we're at 7%, he's at 7.5. So so using these numbers here, 560 would market the same price as the lease option. Actually, you know what? I need to put in. Let's see here for seller finance. I'd really want to get about 35,000 down. Our fee is still the same, but just more money in Eduardo's pocket. So let's recalculate this now. 34.92. Okay, so now I'm going to make what I do when I work with seller finance. I make Loom videos. I put in the numbers in a mortgage calculator here, and I'm going to print this off again. So I've got it when we talk later today. That's printing. Now I'm going to move this out of the way, and I'm going to Loom video, Loom. By the way, if y'all don't have Loom, you really need to get it free. They've got a free, you can record up to 5 minutes or 4 minutes. That's all I need. All right, Eduardo. All right, so obviously, we can play with these numbers here, but and without knowing, your exact principal and interest, just playing with this here. So we'd market it at 560,000. I put it 35,000 down at 7% interest with 35K down. That puts they'd be paying you just under 3,500 a month principal and interest. As you know, they pay taxes and insurance. And of course, we can play with these numbers. Obviously, the down payment, where we set that is going to, help determine the activity we get on the house. As far as the number of buyers. But I've got 35,000 down, 7% interest. If we tweak that interest much higher, could again, it's going to start to limit some of our buyers. If we put it at 7.25, you get about about $100 more a month. But again, we can play with these figures. But take a look at these, and let's follow up later today and kind of adjust these, make sure we get them where you want them, so we can get rolling on this. All right, so I just did a real quick, now with if this was a seller that I'd never talked to before, I'd go into a little more, I'd talk a little, give a little more details on that video. But again, let me make sure that copied. I believe it did. Okay, link copied. I'll go back to this email. There's that. Okay. So now he's got the video on the seller finance and the price sheet. So I'll send that off there. And now we are good to go. So there's that one. I'm going to, again, he may reach back out to me during this call. And you can hear us kind of go back and forth on the numbers. Let's save this here. There's that file. All right, now let's start making some calls here. I'm going to stop this for, well, actually, I'll just, let me see here. I just want to make sure I've got, that is today's. Okay, I'm going to share this again. I want to make sure I had today's pulled up here. And okay. So yesterday I made some calls and one of the gentlemen, it was a new construction. He actually built the house. I guess he builds houses and maybe does some investing as well. And but that house that we called about sold, but as if he had other houses or maybe he brought it up. He had another house he remodeled in on Crockett in San Antonio. So I looked at it and sent him some preliminary numbers, and he's actually already texted me. Awesome. I'm out on some appointments, but I'll check it out when I get. Okay. So may end up working with him on this other property that he has in Crockett. So again, for people, let me minimize that. So for people, for everyone on the, most people on the call here, know what we do, the system that we use. But for those that watch the replay, so with marketing to sellers, our students normally start off using our software. They'll scrape Zillow, it'll scrape Craigslist if you want to, and pull different lists for you. But we use it primarily for scraping Zillow for different counties, and we scrape all the for sub owners. Then we text blast them. When they respond, then we call. We can pick up the phone and call. So I've got all these replies. These are in Bear County right now. We had 50. How many did we have? 80? No, 50. 50. I can't see because now this is in the way. 50. No, we had a little bit more than that, I think. Let me minimize this. 54. Okay. So I'm going to minimize this, get this out of the way here. So now, when we send these texts, in the perfect world, we can call, within the hour to call these sellers back. In this case, I texted them yesterday. So such as it is. Okay, so yesterday we talked about the three buckets: the curious bucket, the sold bucket, and the no bucket. And all these, no matter what, whether you're using, whether we're texting these sellers or whether you're using, if you're a wholesaler and doing text blast, whatever, your replies, the people that reply, they're still going to fall in those same three buckets. Doesn't matter what you're texting: curious, sold, or no. So I say call everybody that replies. So I'm just going to do a quick. Okay, this is the one that I think it was. I don't know if it were. Okay, let's call it. This is a wholesaler here locally. I'm just going to get this one out of the way. I don't wholesale, but I want to give him a quick ring. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, dun, dun. I got a song stuck in my head. Hey, Caleb, I thought it may be Isaac. Hey, Caleb, my name's John Jackson, and you and I had texted a little bit yesterday about a property y'all have on Secession Lane in San Antonio. I assume Isaac replied back and said, "Hey, I'm a wholesaler. Add me to your wholesale deals or whatever." And he gave me an email address. So anyway, so just calling to follow up on this. Are you familiar with this house on Secession?
Yeah, it's my personal home, but
Oh.
I'm a wholesaler as well.
Oh, I got you. Okay, okay. So this is your personal home. All right. It was Caleb. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. I'm making note of that. Okay. So I really don't wholesale hardly ever. It's just not my thing. I work, Caleb. What we do is we work with wholesalers where if the wholesaler's got leads where the seller wants full price, but it's the house seems to be moving ready, but it doesn't work for wholesale. Then wholesalers will bring us those leads, and we can structure either lease option or seller finance on them. And wholesaler gets paid, we get paid, seller's happy, and all that. So we do work with the wholesalers. I just personally don't get a lot of wholesale deals across the desk just because the avatar of seller that we're targeting, which is typically someone wanting a nice home, move-in ready, they're wanting full price. So so that's what we do. So this is your personal home. It looks like you're asking $300K for it. You're offering seller finance with is that 10% interest or 10% down? I'm reading the ad right here.
Yeah, no, it would be $330,000 with, and then 30,000 down at 10% interest.
Okay. All right.
It's definitely not one that it's just for the end buyer.
Yeah, exactly. It was. Yeah, obviously those numbers aren't sexy enough for an investor, for sure. Well, it looks like you've only had it on the market for about less than about 20 days. Does that sound about right?
Sounds good.
All right. How come you're moving out of this house? You moving somewhere else in San Antonio?
Yeah, I already moved.
Oh, you already moved. Okay, so it's vacant. Okay. I'm making a note here. All right. Well, so we actually help investors and regular sellers and investors. We structure the lease option, or in this case, a seller finance, and we market that. You've already got it out there, seller finance, so may not need any assistance on that end, but happy to help you market your seller finance if with those terms. If that's something you may be interested in, or you may have enough exposure or big enough buyer pool that you can sell this without any assistance. But happy to work with you on this if it's something that interests you.
How would that be any different than what I'm already doing?
We would just structure it. We would just market the same terms. It's just that we've got probably a much bigger reach than you do, just because we've been around for 23 years. But totally up to you. When I saw that you already offering it seller finance, you can just keep doing what you're doing, and hopefully someone will come along, or just letting you know we're here if it's something that if you don't get enough traction, we can have a conversation about us marketing it for you for seller finance through our audience. Like I said, it's probably bigger reach than what you've got on the retail side anyway. But yeah. Have you gotten much?
So
yeah.
You just tack on 10,000 to the deal or whatever, and
no. Well, we'd have to walk through the numbers. We could definitely raise the price of it. It's showing $300K right now on Zillow that you've got it at, but we may market it say $340K and blast it out to our audience.
Oh yeah, I mean, go ahead and blast it out to your audience. I can give you the assignment fee or whatever.
Yeah, we would just get paid at close at title. We just send an invoice to title and they pay us. Yeah. Let me double check something here, Caleb. Is the Isaac at Swift Property Home Buyers, is that someone else in your office, or is that you?
Yeah, my brother and I.
Okay.
Business together.
Okay, I'm making a note of that. Okay, brother. What's I know you're out and about, but what's your email address, Caleb, so I can shoot you an email just to firm up terms and all that that we'd be marketing it at.
Isaac at SwiftPropertyHomeBuyers.com.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's one I got. Okay. Yeah, I'll shoot you an email here probably within the hour, just kind of firming up the terms so that say yep, that looks good, or hey, we got to make an adjustment there or whatever, and then we can take it from there. Okay, Caleb.
All right, I'll take a look at them.
All right. Hey, Caleb, by the way, since y'all are wholesalers, do y'all ever get sellers that are wanting full price, but it's a nice move-in ready home, they're wanting full price, and you're like, man, we can't make money on that. You ever get many of those leads?
Not too many, but
Yeah.
We do have one that just came down the pipeline. We're working on the terms with the seller right now.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, yeah, because we help wholesalers as well that get leads. Are like, hey, we can't do anything with this, and then they bring it to us, and we structure the lease option or the seller finance, so everybody gets paid on it. So, but it works out for the seller because they get full price and they're happy. But all right, Caleb, well, sounds good, man. Great talking to you. I'll shoot you an email here just a little bit later, probably within the hour, kind of firm up the terms that you want us to, we can market it at and go from there. Okay.
Appreciate you.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. So that was so Isaac and Caleb are brothers. They're wholesalers. He's got this house that I just pulled up over wherever it went. Let me get rid of that. Is this it? Yeah. So here's this house he lives in. He's already moved out. All right, you put that down. So, so at this point, I can fill up my my lead sheet here. Again, he was talking about 330, getting 10% interest. Man, yeah, if we could get 10% interest, everybody'd be happy. So he's, it's going to be very, very difficult for him or us to get a buyer that's willing to do 10% interest, but it doesn't cost me anything to market it. So 6706 Secession Lane, SA 78240. So I'm going to stop sharing this for just a second. I'm just taking notes here. As I take notes, if anybody here has questions, anything, any question at all, whether it's lease options, seller finance, anything, fire away. And I'm going to double check this. Yeah, he's got it marketed at. He's got it listed at 300K. It shows price reduction of 30,000, but six five one 2272, and go back to the email here. How do I move that? Okay. Isaac at Swift Property Swift Property Homebuyers.com. Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna go back here one last time, finish up these notes. 3/2/1446. 1986. Okay. So again, because I'm going to send him an email with some, just kind of firming up the terms. I've started filled out a lead sheet here. It's just got basic stuff on it. So I'll shoot him an email. Actually, I want to see me send him an email now. Might as well do it now since it's top of mind. Okay, all right, so I'll share this. Where's my share screen? All right, so I'm going to send him an email. I assume that's how you spell his name. Okay, I'm just sending him that. All right, so now let's go back to this. Okay, so there's that one. I'm going to get rid of that. Okay, there's that one. All right, back to here. Okay, so okay, I did that. Tell me what you're thinking, John. What was this one? So I'm going to end up calling almost all these. I just am going through the result of the. It's only been on Zillow for 4 days. All right, so let's call this one. One of the things I like to do is, so I assume it's still vacant because according to these pictures, it's vacant. There's a picture of a garden hose. I'll tell you what, a good solid picture of a garden hose will sell a house every time. Okay, so this thing's never going to sell like this. The pictures are horrible. I'm wondering if this is a townhouse. See that roof slope? I'm wondering if this is a townhouse. You can't tell from that picture.
Yeah, and the other side of the house is cut off.
Exactly. It doesn't say, but have a feeling that's a townhouse. So we can do townhouse. You know, we've done it before. They're not as attractive to our avatar buyer, but like one like this, I have to. I'm guessing there's probably no HOA. Could be wrong. The issue with some townhouses is they're in a gated community, the HOA, this and that. But we can definitely do them. Condos, I do not do. It would be a rarity for me to do a condo. So let me call this guy. Um, Now something you can do is it's probably under. You can actually look at. Come on. You don't have to do this. I'm just doing it for funsies here. You can look it up on taxes before you call, which I would not recommend doing this on every property. I'm just curious on this one here. New property search. Yes. 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 Visit website. Good grief. It's like I clicked on a porn site. What is this? Harris Govern? What is this? Okay, here we go. That property was, get my pen, 9844 Fortune Ridge. So let's just see if it's under. Oh, it's a weird URL. It popped up. Okay, 9844. Okay, here, well, online showed up all these. Oh, good grief. I'm not going through all that. All right, 44 Fortune Ridge. There we go. And Jason Massey. All right, let's call Jason. Again, guys, I don't normally look up houses on that before I call them. I'm just curious on this one. Let's go back to the house. He's asking 230K. Vacant. I'm making notes here, town. All right, let's call him. 210-210-900-8912. I'm calling this one.
Hello, you've reached Strategic Property Solutions. Please leave us a callback number and we'll return your call at our earliest. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Hi there, my name is John Jackson. We were texting just a little bit yesterday about the property you've got on Fortune Ridge or over there in Converse. And I wanted to talk to you about that, see if maybe we'll to put something together for you. My phone number is 817-980-0068, 817-980-0068. Thank you. That was definitely not Jason. All right, so I'm going to send them a text. John Jackson, and I just left a quick message about your property on Fortune Ridge. Period. I had sent you a quick text from our system yesterday regarding a possible lease purchase or maybe terms. So please call me back when you have a moment. Okay, there's that. There's that. Okay. So now I'll go into the system here. Hope they'll call back during this call. Tell me what you're thinking. Add notes. Come on, add notes. So I'll put these notes in here. Okay, there's the notes there. Now let's call another one. Before I call another one, I want to, since Matt's new to the first time on one of my calls, Matt, as you're kind of watching me do my thing, I know we just made a couple of calls here, but from your perspective, as far as what you do and what you provide to sellers and buyers out there, anything, any questions you have yet, or anything that stands out you may have a question about?
No, John, I'm pretty much tracking
Okay.
with the numbers and the way you're framing it up. It's not foreign to me, so that's good.
Sure. Yeah.
I like your systems and processes so far. So yeah, it's so far so good as far as what I'm seeing. No major questions yet.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty. I tell people, Matt, if you want something exciting that gets the dopamine and adrenaline going, and you want to do something, gets the adrenaline going in real estate, I'm not the guy, because what I do is it's so boring, to be honest with you, Matt. It's just, maybe because I've done it for so long, but it's literally copy paste, and especially when I do direct mail and I got inbound calls, that's just, I can do that, students could do that in their sleep. I got to mow that yard. So I'm just taking as y'all know, I normally try to look at the pictures real quickly before I call the seller, just get a feel for what's going on. Is it vacant? Is it occupied? Does it look like a rehab that they did, or what's going on? Okay, let me call this one Prue Lane 830.
If you record your name and reason for calling, I'll see if this person is available.
John Jackson, and I was calling about the house on Prue Road in San Antonio.
Hello.
Hi there. Yeah, my name's John Jackson.
Yeah.
Oh, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was calling about the house you've got there on Prue Road, and actually, you and I had texted just a little bit yesterday about seeing if maybe a lease purchase or maybe terms may work for you, but it doesn't sound like that was going to kind of work for what you were wanting. So I thought, well, let me just reach out anyway and find out what's going on.
No, there's no repairs in the house, and the house is like property is super good.
So I apologize. But I see it's listed for sale at 405. Are you getting much interest in it yet?
No, just one thing, are you in a realtor or are you just looking for the property for you sales?
Okay. All right. Are you, I'm looking at the picture. Are you still, I see a bed and a mattress. Are you still living in the property, or is it totally vacant?
No. So, what I'm asking is, are you looking the property for yourself?
Oh, I apologize. No, I'm not an agent. I always say I'm much better looking than an agent. Better looking than an agent and smarter than an attorney is what I say. No, what our company does is we help sellers and investors get full price for their properties. We can either put together a lease option where you get full price, you don't pay commission, and you get cash flow. And then our buyers cash you out within 12 months because they're in our program on the way to get financed. In some cases, seller finance works out better for the seller, where they get even more cash flow, bigger down payment. It just depends on kind of what they're looking for. So that's what my company does. We actually help sellers and investors with other exit strategies other than just MLS, hope for the best.
I'm not looking for like any lease options right now because I'm just trying to sell the property in 2 to 3 months
Okay.
and move out of the company. So
Wow.
I can go ahead and I can give a lease and wait for a couple of months for that.
Okay. So you're gonna be leaving the country here in a few months?
Yes.
Okay, I got you. So, well, let me ask you, if it hasn't sold and it's time, if you're getting ready to leave the country and it hadn't sold yet and you're boarding a plane, what do you think you might do with the house? If it hasn't sold when it's time for you to leave, what do you think you might do with the house?
Like, what I say, I'm not looking to lease or like do for any financial. I'm just like looking for the serious buyers only.
Right, right. No, I understand that. It's just I was curious if you're leaving the country, and I was wondering I was curious what you might do if the house hasn't sold and it's time for you to leave the country.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I can give like POA for someone so that like they can sell it.
I see. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, like I said, we're always here to help. We help you get full price and don't pay commission. And we have a pretty big reach, probably much larger than what you're marketing to. So always happy to at least you get some information if that's something that interests you, and so you'll have that as a plan B.
Yeah, I will let you know.
Okay.
But not right now. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can't just text me your name and email address, I'll send you 2 emails and just so you have those in your back pocket, so you know what a plan B looks like. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I could not understand what he was saying. So anyway, don't really not too let down if he didn't send me his information. I couldn't understand what he was saying. So add notes. Anyway, I'm going to text him his 830 number. And so I'm texting. So I'm texting this fellow right now. So I just sent this guy a text. Tell me your name and email. Text me your name and email. I will send you 2 quick emails just so you can see what the lease purchase would look like. At least you'll have a plan B in case it doesn't sell. Don't worry, I won't blast you with the follow-up emails. Just happy to get the initial information to you. And like I said, I'm sorry, guys, just a second. Okay. Okay, so I did that one. Okay, let's call it is for sale, will not do a lease. So I talked yesterday on the okay, so here's is that new construction? Gated community home features open concept. Maybe not. No, it's built in 20. Yeah, it's new construction. It's been on the market for 70 days. So anyway, so on this house here, new construction. I don't know if it's the builder selling it or the homeowner that moved in. I assume it's the home builder, but beautiful house. And so I'm going to call them. A challenge with this is price point's a little bit high, so seller finance would be better, but we can always market it as a lease option. Two, it's in a gated community, so that takes away one of our very powerful marketing tools, which is our signs, our sign in the yard, the directional sign. So it doesn't mean we can't move it; just makes it a little more challenging. So I'm going to call them. Yeah, brand new construction. Okay. So I'm going to call them, and they may not be able to, because they're a construction loan, they're temporary loan, they more financing, I should say. They may not be able to do a lease purchase even if they wanted to without doing a refi. But I've worked with years ago. I worked with three or four different home builders in the Tarrant County area, and these were people that built probably 8 homes a year or whatever, small operators. And so we've done new homes certainly as well. Let me call this guy, person, female, girl, whatever, 210-415-7887. Hi there, my name is John Jackson. I was calling about the house you've got on Breezeway in San Antonio. My phone number is 817-980-0068. I'll shoot you a quick text as well. Thank you. What's interesting is that I assume it's the builder that's selling this, but it's not on the MLS. It's for sale by owner. It's interesting that if it's the builder, because normally many times a builder is also an agent, or they've got their wife or the husband, somebody in the family is an agent. They get it out there. They've got an agent that gives them a sweet deal, say 2% seller commission, whatever. But that's interesting. But whatever. This was designed by well-renowned architect Gustavo Orendando. So let's take a quick peek at this architectural marvel. Oh, looks like a house to me. I don't see any architectural I mean, pretty house, but whatever. Okay, so I sent them a message. I'm gonna make a note here. Quick message about the property on Breeze Way. I knew it wouldn't do that right. Okay, I sent them a text. Go. Okay. So I'll make my notes in here. Okay. Uh, there's there's that. Cash only. Okay, yeah, that is a price increase of 10,000. So that's definitely not a lease option. So Matt, and oh, Brandon the man. I just saw someone else in the. Hello, Brandon. How are you, sir? Wait a minute. Is that the Brandon? I can't see the picture's that big.
Yeah. Can I talk to you?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
What's up, John?
Is that Brandon?
It's Brandon.
Oh, I would have known that, except I saw the 480 number. I was like, because your head is, like that tiny. I was like, I can't tell. What's going on, Brandon?
Not much, man. How you been?
Man, super. I've been doing super great. I moved this year from Fort Worth to San Antonio, so getting things set up here, and obviously as you can see, getting doing the marketing down here, getting some inventory here. Still got DFW going strong.
That's great.
So not going to shut that machine down, right? But anyway, quick. Is your but let me go back to Zoom here. Where is my Zoom? How do I? Just a second, Brandon. Let me
I love that
stop
you're doing this, John. This is awesome.
Oh man, I appreciate it. Let me stop that. There he is. Yeah. Sorry, I was sharing my screen so I couldn't see you. Yeah, Brandon. So yeah, man, good to see you. It's been a while. It's been a
I
while.
know.
So yeah. So since you're on here, how about a 45-second spiel of your BS story? Who the hell's Brandon?
Well, I started in wholesaling years and years ago with a guy named Sean Terry. He was out here in Arizona. He's still here, but he's doing nationwide wholesaling now. I helped him with a coaching program. We've coached like what 500 to 700 people or so go through coaching and masterminds and stuff. And I'm always the guy screaming creative finance, lease options. So I worked with him up until about October last year, and we saved like a $50,000 lease op. We saved a deal and made $50,000 on a lease option deal. So this stuff works. It really does.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, well, good to see you, man.
You
So
too.
you're still out there in Phoenix, still doing your thing. Now, I know you worked with Sean for a number of years and all that.
hmm
As far as what you're doing right now, um, because I assume I don't know. Does Sean still have the podcast and the coaching and the mentorship and all that stuff?
Well, I think there's some changes coming soon.
Okay.
Probably
All right.
around June, you'll probably hear some stuff.
Okay. All
So,
right. Okay, well,
yeah.
seeing your expression now you got me curious.
I'll
But
let him kind of take care of that. I just found out. So,
okay, I got you. Okay.
yeah.
Um, now I can't wait for June for the good gossip. So what are I know you're doing real estate, but tell us a little bit about kind of your your operations in Phoenix, because you do education as well. But so kind of
Yeah.
paint a
Well, the
picture.
last couple of years, I was helping a couple of different startups. There's a startup here in Phoenix, and then Sean Terry started a new company. So I was helping with Sean for about a year and a half, and helping with another company for a little over a year. So I kind of been the guy behind the scenes. That's why you probably don't see me on social media a ton, because I've kind of been helping them build their stuff. And
Yeah.
now that I'm kind of done helping all them, I'm getting ready to jump back in myself and do everything on my own and do
Okay.
a John Jackson, right? Just make this stuff work. And
Yeah.
it's fun. I love being part of other businesses and helping them grow and succeed, but now it's just time to focus on my own stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. I hear that because, and you know this as well, but I describe, um, like, if someone is in real estate, pick any niche in real estate, and they've done it for a little bit, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever. They say, I think I want to become a coach. I think I want to. I'm like, I always
mhm.
ask them why. Not
Mhm.
because and I mean that not in a joking, but why? What makes you want to become a coach? Because as you know, Brandon, doing the deals like leasing to buy for us, that's one plate spinning, right? But then when
Yep.
many years ago, or years ago, when I started getting a little more into the I guess I started off really more in coaching than I did info product. But as I started getting into the coaching, well, then that's another plate spinning. And then there's
Right.
info product, meaning my course, which I don't have a whole bunch of product. I've got a course, or that's it, But so you've got a few
Yeah.
plates spinning there. Well, as the coaching started to get more and more known about and popular, if you will, well, now I got that plate. I'm moving my energy to that plate. Well, this plate that
Starts
was the
getting wild.
mothership, it starts to wobble, right?
Yep.
So, so I didn't do my own deals for, I don't know, Brandon, a year and a half. I mean, I would do deals,
Mhm.
investors would bring me, their house, and I would do it for them, but I didn't do any outward marketing, inbound
Right.
or outbound. So that play was really, it was just about falling to the floor and crashed. And then 24, I believe it was March 24, I said, okay, because my students were doing deals. I'm like, man, Daddy's got to get back in the game. So
Yeah.
started right back with what I knew, which was direct mail. Very specific, laser focused direct mail campaign to MLS, 30 DOM, and within a few, it took about 90 days, and had I think it was 11 houses I was marketing. So. Uh,
Wow.
but again, I just went back to the basics. What do I know?
Mhm.
Direct mail, laser focus. Here's the list. And but also realizing that direct mail is a longer runway than our software that'll scrape and text.
Yeah.
But yeah, so got back in the game, and I'm so glad I did. Because
Yeah.
there's something about being an educator, or even if you know your stuff inside and out better than anybody, you've done it a long time. There's something about if you're not actively doing your own stuff, you start to feel like a fraud. You know,
Yeah.
uh, even though you know your stuff, you've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deals. It's like, man, I need to get back in the game. And I'm so grateful I did, not just
Yeah.
for me, but for my students as well. Not because
Mhm.
because I didn't know what I was doing, but just they can see me. Okay, here's what I did. Here's
Yeah.
actual deals that I'm doing and how I structured them, all that. But do you plan on as you focus on Brandon and doing Brandon stuff again? Do you plan on doing any coaching or mentoring for anybody?
Yeah, I always love it. It's my wife saw me. I was teaching a creative class for Azaria a couple weeks ago, and she jumped on Zoom to watch me because she's never seen me really present or anything. It's kind of funny. We have our separate lives and our own lives, right? But she saw me, she's like, I just see you so happy, like so excited. And I realize for me, the coaching is not so much about the money that you make. Like it's nice, you get paid, for the information, and that's very helpful. But I love it when my students do deals. I love it when they
Yeah.
whenever it's almost like a Rubik's Cube and you see that they solve it, and then like the light bulb opens up. Like Carlos Reyes, who's out here in Phoenix, and
Mhm.
I think you met him at
Oh
my
yeah, I know
big
it.
real
Uh-huh.
estate thing. Um, he bought his first house on lease option, and then refinanced out of that. And his brother-in-law bought a house using creative financing too. once I got into the office and I taught the whole staff how to do creative financing, they did 8 deals the first week.
Wow.
And I was just like, yes, like that, you can see whenever they grasp it, because for a lot of wholesalers, it's just one way. It's like realtors. They only know one way to do a deal. And for wholesalers or people doing novations, they, only know how to either get it under
Yeah.
contract,
Yeah.
list it on MLS and do novation, or find a cash buyer and do it that way. But whenever you start showing these other strategies, and if you don't have to close at a title company or something like that too, and they're like, wait, this sounds really different. It's not different. It's just same paperwork, right? Assignments and contracts and stuff, and just maybe a little bit different on finding the tenant buyers and stuff like that. But whenever you start unlocking that, then all of a sudden, all the leads that they have in their database become potential money making.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. Because, yeah, you're exactly right. So when you have someone that's doing wholesaling, they got the blinders on, and if it doesn't fit these criteria, then they move it to the trash. And with creative, you can move, you can make, you turn it from, trash leads to cash leads,
Yes.
on a number of them, and that's why, like, earlier on this call, I was talking to a wholesaler who's selling his own house, and I told him the same thing. Hey, I don't wholesale. It's not my shtick, but I mean, I have before, obviously, but it's not what I focus on. But I told him, if y'all get leads that don't fit what you can do with it, they're nice, moving ready homes. They want full price. That's what I do.
Yep.
So I have to work
And
with.
that's a good source of leads too, as other wholesalers. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Because you're, just like the software I'm using, I tell my students, when people reply, and I don't know when you bounce on this call, but I was talking about when you're doing text blasting, like I'm doing it for sub owner, but whether you're wholesaler, blasting, or what I'm doing here, that the leads go, the replies go into 3 buckets, either the curious bucket, the sold bucket, or the no bucket.
Mhm.
Uh, and whether you're doing lease options or wholesale, they're going to fall into one of those 3 buckets.
Right.
And I say that to call every lead. If they reply, I don't care if they said no, piss off. I'm calling them,
Right.
right? Because which I know you get a lot more of with wholesale. When wholesalers are doing text blasts, they get a lot more of that. I don't, mine normally aren't too rude, but I call them. I don't care what bucket it is. Now that introduction, that beginning of that conversation is going to be a little bit different depending on the bucket.
Yeah.
But I say call every lead because I describe it. I use the analogy of a door-to-door salesman. You're selling Kirby vacuum cleaners, which nobody here knows what a Kirby vacuum cleaner is.
I do.
I got a couple people. But you're a door-to-door salesman, and you ring, bing bong, you ring the doorbell. That's the outbound text. They answer they reply to your text. That's them answering the door. And I say, now stick your foot in the door by calling them. Because I don't care what I don't care what bucket they go into, you call them, right?
Right.
They open the door, right? And then you can have a conversation from there. I tell people never ever try to go back and forth on a text. It's
Right.
Make it personal, call them, So yeah.
And on that point, John, a lot of times if they see that you're a real person, not some AI, and that you're really trying to understand what's going on in their situation and showing empathy and stuff, then they're a lot more open to ideas too.
Yep.
And everyone's like, "Oh, how do you get all these creative deals?" I got a secret formula. I ask.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
They
Yep.
can say no. It's okay.
Yeah.
But I would love to see on your outbound. What type of messages do you do just to get them on the phone? Is it still
Yeah.
available? That type of
Yeah.
stuff.
So let me bring that screen
And
back
by the way,
up.
just so you guys know, John and I have known each other for years. I've been a student of John's.
Yeah,
I
that's right.
flew to Texas and went through his Texas lease options training because I was working with another company out of Dallas, Fort Worth, and helping them get off the ground with some of their leads and stuff. And people don't realize, like, they just automatically, especially in Texas, oh, it's illegal to do it here.
Yeah.
You've heard that once or twice, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe once or twice. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's education, right? You got to go back and educate them and stuff. So.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. It's been 20 years since that, or just over 20 years since that law passed, and people still haven't read the damn thing. You know? Well,
Yep.
it's right there. Go online, read it. But yeah, so let me share the screen
I
here.
don't know if you see this, John.
Oh, wait. Oh, look at that binder.
This may date me a little bit.
Let me get rid of this. Yeah, man, that's so old. I bet that was back in the day when it still came with a flash drive. It looked like a little credit card, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
Let's see here. I got it in here.
Oh, you got that old book? Oh my God, the Real Estate Rock Stars or Rock Stars Real Estate or something.
Remember that guy, huh?
Oh my God, I looked older there.
I like your JC Penney picture better.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the flash drive. I've had some people reach out to us saying, "Hey, I was digging back in your course, and the flash drive. There's nothing on the flash drive." I'm like, "Oh man, look at that." Yeah, guys. So all my documents, contracts, everything used to be on that flash drive, and it was branded, with our logo that we had at the time and all that. But anybody that has that flash drive, it's not going to work because I had to. It's not actually the information isn't actually on the flash drive. It's actually on whatever that company was. They would host the information. So after I switched to all virtual, all online, got rid of that. But yeah, that's old school, man.
I know.
Old school. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and by the way, just so I want everyone to know too, like I may have been doing this for, gosh, what has it been? 2010, 16 years. I've been doing real estate for over 16 years. But like I still learn, and I think everyone, like I don't feel like I'm above anyone out there. Like if John has something new that's working, Michael Carbonari has something new that's working,
Michael Carbonari.
I'm down to learn from whoever. It doesn't matter. So.
Man, that's a name. That's a blast from the past, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Golly, man. He, the last time I talked to him, I think it was a student. This had to be sometime in the last couple of years. A student was working with a seller. They weren't under contract yet, but we were talking to a seller in Florida, and the seller, somewhere in the conversation, I don't remember what happened. The seller said, "Working." Maybe she said someone from your company has already reached out to me or something. I don't remember. And I said, and I thought, well, who else? Who reached out to you? Or I don't remember how it all worked out, Brandon. But at some point, going back and forth with the seller, just curious, I was like, no way. Could it be? It was Michael Carbonari. I'd reached out to this seller, and my student had, and I don't remember how it all worked out, but I told I'd reach out to Michael. I said, "Why are you reaching out to my seller leads or something?" But it was all jest. But it was just crazy, small world. But as going back, Brandon, to the messaging. So,
did you say you're using a different software now for texting or something?
It's the one that we've used forever. That we've used this for years. It scrapes, yeah. So with the messaging, I tell my students, hey, here's the message I use. You can tweak it. I tweak it sometimes too. But the message, Brandon, again, for this, keep in mind, I'm the avatar of seller that I'm focused on, which is some of this for sale, ideally a nice move-in-ready home that's they're marketing. So I just say, is your home still available for sale? I was wondering if you might consider a lease purchase or possibly terms. And I put a little hyphen than John. And there's been a few different little variations of that. But what I found is the shorter the better. Just kind of throwing some bait out there, see if they reply, and then I can follow up with them from there. But it just simply says, another version I had was something like, I'm not sure if your house is still available, but if so, wanted to see if you might consider a lease purchase or maybe terms. And then, so it's just a little variation of it, but it's real simple,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that one that you used for Facebook for a long time. Like, don't worry, I'm not a realtor. Ha ha.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. You could, yeah. That's one I just called. Yeah, I had one that said something about, don't worry, I'm not an agent or something. I called this guy yesterday. I think I left a message for him. I don't know why I didn't update the notes. Yeah, and he didn't have any other houses. I don't know why I didn't add the notes here. So this is when I talked to that seller yesterday, and
What are you seeing, John, on when you're reaching out to for sale by owners? Like, about how many do you reach out to before you get something under contract typically?
yeah, so obviously that's going to vary, So
Mhm.
I normally, Brandon, I normally don't, in all honesty and transparency, I normally don't use our software. My students do, but I normally don't. Why? Because I normally do direct
The
mail.
mailers, yeah.
Yeah, but with me now in a new home base, right? I'm using the
Mhm.
software to try to get some traction even faster. So, but to answer your question, it's so if I gave you a number or percentage, it would be totally being pulled out of my backside.
Got it.
But my students would have and Joe, my coach, would have a better idea of that. But
Yeah, that was awesome.
I would say really, if from a percentage standpoint, I mean, you're gonna have you can do a scrape and a text one week in a county, and a week or so later, selling getting you get some, maybe the first week was a wash, not getting anybody or can't get a hold of them, whatever. And the second week you get
Yeah.
two or three, four contracts. But yeah, I couldn't even tell you how many, just because I normally
No
don't even
worries.
use the. I can give you more specific on direct mail numbers,
Yeah.
but because I know those pretty well. But on using our texting software, I couldn't tell you. But again, I do call everyone. I don't care if they say your mother never loved you. I'm calling them. Because I'm like, how do you know my mom? But so 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 on direct mail, um, um, direct mail is a longer runway, and people, if they're just starting off with direct mail, they make a number of mistakes with direct mail, and I
Hmm.
have too. I'm not saying I figured this out day one. Had to figure it out OJT, on the job training. But the three most important things really with marketing, both direct mail, is the message, the frequency, and the list. What's the message say? Does it resonate with your avatar of seller you're marketing to? And I always use
Hmm.
the analogy of, you don't want to send a postcard that says we buy shit boxes and send it to a $2 million home, right? So the message, the frequency is very important. How often are you sending? And I've believe me, I've fumbled this up myself, especially with this move down to San Antonio. And but anyway, the frequency, you have to be consistent with it, whether that's every 4 weeks, every 6 weeks, but you've got to be consistent. Boom, 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 boom.
Hmm.
You got to make that part of that regimen of every whatever that may be, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, but you want to do it consistently. I've not done that this year, just with life and the move and this and that, but we'll get back on track on that, both for DFW area and then San Antonio as well. One of
Wow.
the
I said that's awesome. That's wow.
one of the mistakes people make with direct mail and even marketing, but I'm just using direct mail as the marketing method for this discussion, is and I've seen this a number of times with students over the many, many, many years. There's one in particular that stands out that I'll tell you about her, but the frequency, they'll do one mailing of like whatever 150 pieces and go, well, that didn't work. There was a lady many, 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 many years ago that I was training. She lived in Austin, and oh my God, she was a wonderful, a nice person. It wasn't that. It's just she would call me 2, 3 times a day and spend, oh my God, a tremendous amount of time on the phone with me. I didn't want to be rude, but and she would spend all this time doing analytical research on the Austin market and what companies were moving there. And she called me and spent all this time on the phone with me. And finally, at some point, and this went on for a while, I'm like, oh my God, I'm wasting my time here. And I finally said, have you done any marketing? Because I'm like, all this yappity yap for hours and hours and hours and hours. I mean, it was ridiculous. I said, have you done any marketing? after all these weeks, she said, well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I did a direct mail. I did some direct mail, but it didn't work. I said, well, you're not supposed to do direct mail without letting me know so I can guide you through that. I said, okay, well, how many pieces were there? And she said, oh, that's big. It was just over 100 pieces. I'm like, okay. I said, well, how many times do you send it? Just once. I'm like, okay, this is the problem. So the consistency, you want to do
Right.
that every week, every week. I'm sorry, direct mail every whatever that is, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. For us, direct mail is different than wholesalers. You'll see wholesalers that sometimes they act like prancing like a peacock. I send 30,000 pieces of mail a month or whatever. I'm like, oh my God. You're just shotgunning it, aren't you? No rhyme or reason there. Just let me send let me send all the same sellers everybody else is. With us, but they can use that same list that they're using over and over and over because it's fairly static, meaning
Right.
absentee owners, high equity, whatever. That's a pretty static list that you don't have to pull a list every time you do a mailing. With us, it's different. Where we're sending direct mail to MLS over 30. So that list is changing literally every day, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every time we do a direct mail, then my assistant pulls the list, puts in a prop stream, cleans it, exports it, or imports it, exports it, cleans it up, and then we've got our direct mail list. But the way we do direct mail, we can literally just focus even on a city. We can do a county, or we can focus on a city like Arlington, Texas, as an example.
Right.
We don't have to do all of Tarrant County. So we've got a laser focused direct mail campaign where we don't have to send thousands of pieces. It's normally, if I'm sending 1,000 pieces, even that's pretty substantial.
Oh yeah.
Me, because it's so laser focused. So we can send not even 700 pieces. I don't even send that many. But as long as I know my avatar, I know my target, we can laser in on that. When I first started doing direct mail way back, I would do direct mail to I wasn't hitting the whole Tarrant County. I was hitting zip codes. You talk about a smaller list, and I was getting houses left and right just by targeting. Okay, I want 76244 and 76133. Boom, there's the mail, and then whatever it was, 76. So I could target zip. I could still target zip codes. But the point is, that's what I was doing back then and getting a lot of houses. But when we pull a list, we have to pull a new list every time, a fresh list, because it's going to be
Right.
It's going to have some of those houses fell off, some of those houses. There's going to be some new houses as well that are on that over 30. And now people
Right.
ask me, so we pull a new list every time. People ask me, well, John, why don't you hit over 90? I go, well, we are, because when you hit over 30, you're hitting anything that's above 30 days on market on the MLS, 60, 90, 120. If you come in at over 90, well, the problem there is you get one piece out to them. In 30 days, that contract may have expired. The listing may have expired, or certainly in the next 60 days, it's probably going to expire. So you've only probably hit them one time, right? Whereas if you just go with over 30, now you're going to very likely hit them, once, twice, maybe 3 times, because they're still on that list, right? It's just getting older. When I first started doing direct mail, there was no platform or no way to filter by days on market. I think I was using Realtor.com. I think it was around back then. I think I was using Realtor.com. Of course, I was doing everything by hand back then.
Right.
We had nothing, back then. So I was doing it all by hand, and I would just blast all of Tarrant County when I first started, as I remember. But again, I was doing it all by hand. Boy, you talk about a pain in the rear. But
I remember my first wholesale. I was using these little yellow pads and writing yellow letters on these at night. I get home off after working at Wells Fargo all day. I just get through and write these out. Like, there's 50 sheets in a yellow pad of paper.
Mhm.
So I'd write out 50, and then I found out that I could take them off, like the perforated edge, put them in the copy machine, and if I line it up just right, it copies right on the yellow letters. I'm like, oh, I just found a hack, right? That was before we're sending direct mail through like the different direct mail houses and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Boy, I bet you were so excited when you saw, man, if I line up just right, it copied on the yellow legal pad, legal
And that's
paper.
actually back then, that's when we would, if you sent out, I think it was 25 letters, you'd get at least 2 or 3 calls back.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
was actually
Wow.
really high response then,
Yeah.
but now it's dropped like crazy, But
Yeah, because everybody started using the yellow letters and all
yeah.
that. So, um, but yeah, I don't remember what my first letter said. I don't remember. I wish I had a copy of what I
Are
used to
you
send
sending
out.
out are you still mailing your the trifold pamphlet?
Trifold. We aren't. Um, so what happened is our mail house, our printer, which was Go Big Printing,
Yeah.
we stopped really kind of using. We stopped ordering the trifold just because our Street View postcard got about the same results we were seeing, uh,
Oh,
but for less money. So
well,
we stopped kind of using the trifold. Well, then Go Big switched over to Print Genie, different systems, this and that. And really, what they do is postcards. So they dropped the trifold brochure, but we've got a couple of custom, a few custom lease option. Matter of fact, if anybody goes there, if anybody has a Print Genie account that watches this, if you go in there and you sort through the columns, categories, and you look for lease options, well, those were all created based on templates that we had kind of created and developed. So they just created postcards for lease options based on us. But we really stick to the Street View postcard now because it's gone up in price, but it's six. No, it's like 72 cents now
oh wow.
because of Street View. Which the Street View makes a difference. That's what makes a difference in that card. Is they see a picture of their house. I can't tell you how many people think, "Why did you drove in front of my house?" Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I have nothing better to do than drive around taking pictures. But so it's kind of funny. But I did reach out to another printer. Um, I can't remember which one it was. It's one that's known. And I got a quote on the trifolds. I think I sent them the template of it, and they came back, and I don't remember the price, Brandon, but it was like $1.07 a piece, something like that. So when you're sending, well, that adds up, $1.07,
Right.
and
Yeah, you're thinking $1.07 versus a couple cents for a text message.
yeah, so I haven't used them. I still love the trifold. It's still I wish it wasn't so pricey because because it's just a great mail piece, because people
Yeah.
see it and they human instinct tells them to open it. Like, what is this, right?
Hmm.
Uh, and it explains everything. It just explains everything, and so I really like the trifold, but it just it got a little bit too pricey,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
And by the way, that's the key, right? People don't realize. I remember. I remember, John. I had some wholesale deals. I had a company and I had employees and everything. By the way, I recommend you don't need all that if you want to make a healthy, happy living. You don't need to have like 20 employees and 30 employees doing everything for you.
Yeah.
But like I remember I got done doing a flip. I made like $51,000 on that. And I was like, I should have been doing cartwheels, but I was pissed because it all just went to pay off all my marketing and payroll and commissions and rent. And I was like, I'm just working to make everyone else be able to have a job.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
which I mean, I loved everyone I worked with, but it's just like, gosh, this is the balance wasn't right, right? So,
Oh yeah, yeah, and um, yeah, I think sometimes people will in our space will get a little bit of traction and try to find office space because it makes them feel important. And then,
hmm.
oh, we're going to hire someone. What are you going to pay them? What are they going to do? This and that. So I say lean and mean.
Yeah. No,
Absolute bare
and you're
minimum. And
absolutely right, John. I've been in offices with some of my friends, right? They have like, the call center look, and
yeah.
all the desk and everyone's pounding the phones and stuff. And I was talking to them about the revenue and their profit and everything like that. I'm like, wait a second, I made more profit than they did. And it's just me.
Yep.
How is that? How am I doing more than them? And they have all these employees and all this, software and all the, latest and greatest from Google Ads and PPC and stuff. And I'm like, I'm making more than them, and I'm taking a week off to go camping with my son, and I'm, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I th
Bigger's not always better by any means, because you're exactly right, Brandon. If you've got, say, 4 or 5 people, acquisitions, doing outbound calls, you got a dispo person, you got a TC person, uh, maybe in their office manager, whatever. But you've got all
yeah.
these people. Well, you've got to do so much volume just to cover the cost of that.
Oh yeah.
Because you do, a $20,000 assignment fee as example for wholesaling. Well, that you're gonna see as the operator, you're gonna see very little if you've got all these little baby birds to feed.
Oh, I know. I've been in organizations where they've had more support staff than they had salespeople,
Mm,
and and I didn't think about it until afterwards. I'm like, gosh, that'd make me go insane because you still have to pay the payroll no matter what.
mhm.
So
Yeah,
whether you
yeah.
have a good month or a bad month, and it's all good when everything's good, but in markets like this right now where things are a little bit slower, it's great for creative stuff and lease
Yeah,
options and
yeah.
stuff like that. So
I'm gonna. Oh wow, it's almost 2 o'clock. We've been going on for a couple hours. I'm gonna. If you can stick with us for just one more call, Brandon.
okay, I'll
Uh,
just mute myself.
I'm not sharing anymore. I'll make one more call here, then to be respectful of everybody's time and bounce after this. Um, okay. Did I? Okay, that's a mobile home. This is an interesting response. He needs the money for his business. Let's call him. There was one other one I want to call that was definitely not. Let me see. Before I call him, that was that one. There was one I wanted to look at to explain this one, I think. Yeah, so let me explain why. People ask me, John, how do you know if it's lease option or seller finance? So one of the first things to look at, boom, look at a house. This just came up, fat. I'm like, oh, seller finance. I would not lease option. This why? Well, one, because of the not necessarily it's because of the age, but you can tell it's just got that older style, right? It just has an older look. Now, could you lease option? Absolutely. Yeah, you can lease option anything. But I'm looking for what can we lease option that will get traction, not only get eyeballs on it, get traction, get interest on it, but also where those buyers are most likely to get financed. Um, yeah, I mean, obviously this house is not going to show well at all. I don't know what kind of graffiti they've got painted on the wall, Mr. Monopoly. But yes, this house isn't going to show too well. This is a horrible picture. One of the things that really helps sell the house, one of the most important things is oh my god, is the kitchen. Now I'm assuming they still live there, but I mean this custom paint job they've done on their walls does not bode well. Doesn't look well. And did I miss the? Hey, we've got one of those in the front yard. Let me go back here. So here's their kitchen picture. And this, I think, was the only kitchen picture they had. And look how dark it's they're not gonna be able to sell this. But this would really be seller financed if it wasn't for the painting. And let's look at this wood paneling here. Look, you got wood paneling that's buckling and stuff. I wouldn't lease option that. I would seller finance it. So I would present the seller, I would explain to the seller what we do, and say, but for your house, I think seller finance might be best. But I want to go back to here. Well, actually, I can just call him now since I got it pulled up. What did you say? Sorry, cash only. Okay. Let's find out about your cash only. Just like, okay, just a second. 4-3 is a seller. 4-3-4 car garage. Okay. Okay. Back to this. 210 674 3488.
Please leave your message or.
Hi, my name is John Jackson. I was calling about your house for sale in San Antonio. If you can call me at 817-980-0068. I think based on your voicemail, tú hablas español. Hola, me llamo Juan. Voy a llamar para su casa en San Antonio. Mi número es 817-980-0068. 668. Yeah. Gracias. Okay. So there you go. So really, to be successful at real estate, you have to be bilingual. Anyway, it sounded like that voicemail. I thought, oh, I think that's Spanish, because it was very faint. I could barely hear it. But and it may have been maybe. I mean, looking at the condition of that house, he may with those bizarre paint jobs they've got, not only in bedrooms but also in the living room. Was I not sharing? I was sharing my screen. Was I sharing my screen? Could y'all see that house?
Yeah, you were sharing it.
Okay. Okay. Okay, there's that. All right. So I tell you, because it's almost 2:00 here. I think I'll wrap it up here. I'll probably call a couple. Well, I've got a coaching call in 2 hours, so I'll work some more on this list tomorrow. But yeah, so for anyone that watches this, if you're doing texting, like we do scrape and then we text, you want to send those texts out when you know you're going to be in front of the computer, when you've blocked out time for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, to make those phone calls, right? We've done this we did it for an hour and a half yesterday, 2 hours today. But obviously yesterday we had Christy from Next Key Connect, from Next Key Collective on here, talking to her for a little bit. But you want to block out an hour and a half, 2 hours if you're doing text blasting, so you can call them back as soon as they reply, or as quickly as possible. Because if you send a text on a Tuesday and then you get busy or lazy, you don't start calling people back for a week. Well, you might as well start over. It's not just cold; it's ice cold. Whereas if you can call them that day or the next day, then they can at least connect the dots of, oh yeah, you did text me. So anyway, thanks everyone for being here. Brandon, good to see you, man. Good to see you. I'm hoping to make it to Tom Kroll's event. Are you any part of that, of Coaching Inc., as far as following him or anything like that? Oh, you're muted, buddy.
Sorry, no, I'm not involved with that right now.
Okay. Yeah. He's got the event coming up next week, and I'm hoping to go.
Are you still doing the hero thing?
No. So well, yeah, yes and no. Tim. So Tim started off as we did the events. It was for hero coaching, right, for the coaches, right? Then we were in a mastermind. We were at Leadership Boardroom, I think, and somewhere in there, this goes back a couple of years, few years ago, I guess. And I said something about, man, I'm noticing these masterminds of like these commercial guys, they're always looking for money. They need money, money, money. They need capital. I said, maybe I'll go into capital raising. You know, not knowing too much about it, but maybe I'll go into capital raising. And Tim goes, yeah. He goes, I want to do that. Well, of course, Tim took it, you know, is taking it to a whole other level. I never pursued, but he's right. So so he doesn't do the hero coaching anymore. He does. They've got the Hero Alliance still, but it's focused on capital raising. Yeah. So
Okay.
So he still does 2 events a year. Actually, in May, he's got an event in Dallas with Dave Lindahl, because Dave Lindahl is handing over RE Mentor to Tim.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Dave is just like, I'm retiring. So Tim's beyond excited because he gets, you know, the RE Mentor list, right?
Yeah.
And all that. But so he's doing the retirement event with Dave Lindahl in May.
Yeah.
So I'll be there for that, and then where he's, you know, bringing that crowd into the world of Tim and introductions, and, you know, beginning to do that, and then he'll have another event, I guess, in Houston, probably in September or October, and that's the Alliance meeting, Alliance event. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but
Very cool.
But it's a whole other crowd, whole other group of people, you know, and but when I MC, I still jack with them, and they love it, you know. They're used to going to these capital raising events, you know, all stiff and bored, and we're reviewing the returns of the Q4 quarter, and I get up there, you know, to start blasting people, you know, and so it's fun.
That's that stand up on you.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man.
Well, it's good to catch up with you. Yeah, don't be a stranger.
Man. Yeah, so good to see you, Brandon. Yeah, good to see you. Thanks for hopping on here, man.
You got it. Sorry, I'm a little froggy, a little under the weather today, but good to see you.
Oh, sorry, my health is at 150%. Yeah.
Keep it going.
All right, guys. I'm going to end this here. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, everybody, for being on here. I'll finish up some of these calls today and tomorrow, kind of offline, but give you all hopefully some good information between yesterday and today, as far as talking to the sellers and all that. But anyway, guys, all right, take care.
See ya. Bye.
All right, you bet, Matt.